Hello guys, welcome back to the JS for Beginner series. This is in continuation of our last video where we implemented the BMI calculator, and now we are going to style our BMI calculator. So what we have developed until now is this, right? So everything is working as of now. We can calculate BMI. Also, we need to implement this one. So what we aim to implement is this. We haven't added this flip animation, so we need to add a flip animation to this one, which will complete our BMI calculator, right? So let's go ahead and do that. In order to do that, I've already created a index.css because we will need to add some styling and added some generic styles to remove all the styles which browser will apply, and we'll do at rm. So let's go ahead and create. So we need to create couple of divs. So how it works is like we are going to create div called called container. Give it a class of container, right? Then inside that div we are going to create something like one more div, right? And we'll give it a class of flip card, right? And inside that div, what we are going to do, we are going to create two more divs, right? So one div will be for this one and another div will be for this page, right? So inside that div we are going to create two more div. I will call it flip card front, and in this div we are going to add our BMI calculator, and in the same way we are going to create one more div for our back page, and we'll call it flip card back, and we'll add the info about BMI in this one, right? So in this one, so this is going to be our overall structure to attain the div function flip card animation, right? So let's go ahead and do that. We already have a class called container here. We'll make this class as a parent class because this div is already a parent div. If you see, it ends right here. So we are going to add our Flipkart container class right here. So let's go ahead and create a class called, we are going to create this class later. Let's name it Flipkart container, right? Now the other thing we need to do, we need to create one more div and give it a class of flip. Let's close that div. And now what we need to do, we need to put all of our code what we have written until now within this div. So let's copy that and let's go ahead. We just created a class here. Let's cut this, right? And let's paste it. Before pasting it, so what we have implemented as of now is BMI calculator, and we need to put that in front of our card. So let's create a card, one more class, give it a Flipkart. Let's create one more div and give it a class of Flipkart front. and let's close that div and put BMI calculator within this, right? And after that, what we are going to do, we are going to create one more div, give it a class of flip card back, right? And let's close that tab. Now we need to write our this now we need to create this page within this step, right? So let's go ahead and do that. So what we are going to do, we are going to create a div, give it a class of card because we need card style over there, right? And let's close that div. Let's go ahead, create one more div, give it a class of card header, create a header, right? And let's call it, what do we call it, about BMI. Now what we need to do is go ahead and create that button, right, which you see right here, this button. So to do that, we'll go ahead and create a button. Give it a class of button. We'll call it outline success, right? Now what we need to do, we'll add the on click in the later part. Let's just create this button. Give it a text called back to calculator. So we added the text called back to calculator. Let's close this button and we should be getting something right over here. So you see, we are getting something right over here. It's coming here. Let's go ahead and fix this too. We'll add a style, right? We can give it a class of left float. We need to add this class too. So what it's gonna do, let's add this class in our index.css and we're going to say float left. So let's see, something's happening over here. Okay, we'll see how to fix that. After that, what we need to do, so this covers our also weight. So if we see right here, back to calculator is part of header itself. So let's move this button within this step, right? So probably this will make more sense. We probably need to float it right. Yep, there we go. Now we have back to calculator button right over here as per our initial design. So we are reaching somewhere. So let's go ahead and so this completes our header. Now let's go ahead and create a body. So we'll create one more div, give it a class of card body. Just to remind once more, like all these classes are coming from Bootstrap, so we are not going to specifically define these classes, right? What we are going to define are the classes which we just added for Flipkart animation, So let's give it a create a form. I know this is not the idealist way to do this, but I did this because it makes the work fast. So let's go ahead, create a div class form group, right? Close that div, oh sorry, not form, div. Within that, I don't have this text, so let's copy this, create a label, yep. So this does this. What you can do to make it look bolder, give it a strong. So we made it strong. Let's see, is anything happening? Okay, now we're reaching somewhere. After that, we need this body. Let's copy this. You can get all this content, so I'm gonna upload all this code to GitHub. So if you want to grab this content, you can grab all the content from the code itself. I don't remember the website from where I collected this informations. So yeah, that's all I have as of now. So let's go ahead and create one more label. And close this label. Let's reformat it. There we go. So we have just created our first one, right? What I'm going to do, I'm not going to add the rest of the information because it's more like HTML. All you need to do is like add more form group classes and labels and all. Not if you want this whole information and how we are going to write it, you can grab this from the GitHub repo. I'll add that link into the description. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump to our CSS part, which is the interesting part over here. So we are back. Let's rename this, right, and fix this in our code too, where we have set left float. Let's call this, right flow. I couldn't think of better names. I always end up using very bad names for variables, classes, whatnot. That's one of my thing. So let's go ahead and do that. So first thing which we need to do, we need to define our Flipkart container class. So wait, let's see, let's go through what we have added. We have added a Flipkart back, and then we have added Flipkart container, Flipkart and Flipkart front. So let's define our Flipkart. So what Flipkart is whole thing, like how to explain. So if you see, right, so this is a whole Flipkart. This is the thing which needs to be rotated. Within this we have something called Flipkart front, which is this, and then we have this which is called Flipkart back as of now, right? So the Flipkart is the parent class for Flipkart front and Flipkart back. So let's go ahead and define that. So for that we need to keep position relative, right? We are going to give it a width of 100%, right? We are going to give it a height of 100%, and we'll keep seeing what changes it brings, right? So as of now it's good. Then let's go ahead and define our flip card front and flip card back. Okay, let's give it a position of absolute. Okay, this is turning out to be something, we'll see. And also, since I'm using Bootstrap, so sometimes this container class tries to override what we have set as a style. So since I know this, I'm gonna add this important tag. So what it's gonna do, it's gonna override whatever styles applies, and it's gonna apply the position as an absolute, right? So it's gonna override its parent stylings. Let's go ahead and give it a width of 100%, height of 100%. So we are going somewhere, right? So see, we got our styling back. Also, what we are going to say, back face. Oh, didn't get it. Visibility, hidden. We are done till now. Let's go ahead and add some flip card front. I'll explain in a moment what I might do. So now we need to, back. So what we need to do, we need to rotate by 180 degree. So I'll show you what happened. So you see, now what has happened, as we said, rotate the back one 180 degrees. So it's rotated as of now, so that when we rotate it, so what's gonna happen, this is our front view, this is our back view, and we keep it rotated because when we click this, it's gonna rotate and comes back, right? So we keep it rotated, so it's already in the back side. When it comes to the front, it will be I'll say, how to say, so let me show you what happens. We rotated this to 180 degree. What happens? 180 degree, right? So when you're gonna flip, it's gonna rotate 180 degrees, since, right? So what happens when you do 180 degree, you see it's already flipped back, right? So the back portion is already flipped back, right? Now what we're gonna do, what this does, back face visibility hidden, is it's gonna hide. So what it does, if what is happening over here, since we have already rotated the flip card back, so now it's what is coming on the screen is the back side of that page or that card, right? So what we are seeing, hide that thing. So that's why back face visibility hidden, what it's gonna do, if something is rotated already, it's gonna hide that, right? Let's go ahead and add. So we intend to do this rotation on a click of a button. All right. So what we're going to do, we're going to add a event. We are going to add a function on here. So what we are going to say, on click, not coming, on click rotate card. So what's going to happen, we are going to define the rotate card in our JS file. So let's go ahead and define that. We are going to define something of function rotate card. Sorry for the siren if you are listening. It's the patrolling vehicle going around. We have to ensure these are COVID situations. Anyway, so we are going to, what we are going to do, we are going to create a variable called Flipkart container, and we are going to capture that div in this variable. So we are going to say document dot query selector. What query selector is? Query selector grab the div on the basis of class name, right? So if you remember, we had defined a class called Flipkart container, right? When we get that, what we are going to do, Flipkart container dot class list dot add, sorry, dot toggle, we are going to say dot flip. So Flipkart we haven't defined as of now. So what we are doing over here, we grab that div with class called Flipkart container in this variable, and what we did, we added a style. So this is one way to add classes to a div element, right? So if you want to apply some style on a div element, you can define that class and add it like this. So Flipkart.classList.toggle.flip. Now let's go ahead and define that too in our CSS. So we'll define a class called dot Flipkart container dot flip. So we are adding that class. We are defining that dot flip class over here too, and we aim to define dot Flipkart. So we are going to, all we are going to do is we are going to transform that. We are going to rotate it. So what we aim to do, we aim to rotate our, on the click of that button, we aim to rotate our front to 180 degree and back, which is already rotated to 180 degree, back to 0 degree. It might sound complex, but it's very easy. Right, so we did this. So it's not working. Let's see what we are missing. Also, let's add transform style of preserve 3D. Let's see if we are getting any error. So after a couple of debugging, what we found out, this transform thing doesn't work very well with Chrome. So we tried it on our Firefox, and it turns out it's working well. Also, in the meantime, I went ahead and added all the details that needs to be shown here, right? So these ones. So as of now, I've added all the details in mine, even in this one, right? Also, yeah, so let me show you what's the problem with Chrome when you're using transforms and how you can solve it. So we didn't added much in the CSS, or actually we added nothing. It's exactly the same. It was giving some problem with the Chrome. I'll show you what's the problem. So what happens when you transform this? You see, this is not gone. Well, I'll just run the same code in the Firefox and you can see it's working very fine. It's working well, right? So to fix this issue in Chrome, we need to add a WebKit, this one. And actually what we need to do, we need to keep our front rotated at 0 degree. It brings nothing visually, but it's gonna solve our problem, right? So now if you see, it's working fine, right? So that's all. You can add also a perspective. Perspective gives it a good look. Like you see what happens without perspective and with perspective. I'll show you. So right now it's just flipping. It's just flipping. With perspective, there's going to be some 3D kind of effect if you see. I don't know if you're able to see that or not, but yeah, that it's gonna do. Also, you need to add a WebKit for backface visibility too for Safaris, because this one also creates problem with Safari browsers. So we added this for the Safari one, and this completes the flip card animation style, right? Also, go ahead and add this rotate card function in both the buttons, right, on the click here to know more and back to calculator one, and you should be good to go. You can find this code in our GitHub repo. The link is mentioned in the description. And keep learning, keep watching. In the next section, we are going to create a to-do list, right? I'll show you how it's gonna work, right? So that's my to-do list, right? So what you can do, you can write something and press enter, and it's gonna add. It's enter, it's gonna add it. So that's our next project. Also, there is one more feature over here. If we add exclamation mark and add something, it's gonna come as this. The intent of this is to show like this to-do item is important, right? So let me refresh it and show it to you again. Let's say send a mail to Bob, right? So it's gonna come as an highlight, so it's gonna look a little different from all the others one, right? Also, we have this feature, right? So once you do that, it's gonna happen. If you want to remove it, you're going to do this. Also, eventually what we are going to do, hit a subscribe. It's not going to be part of this video, but we are also starting will soon start a new series where we will make Chrome extensions, right? So these extensions, Google Dictionary, you might have already these extensions like this, where we are going to add the to-do list, which we are going to make in the next video, as an extension and use, so that people can just go and directly install this extension rather than opening your website each and every time.